What is up, ladies and gentlemen? You see the split screen, so you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of The Extra Point After Dark. I am pleased to be joined. Don't start already. I am pleased to be joined by my host, the Hit Squad maker herself, my right hand woman, Miss Tasha T Sizzle. What's going on, T Sizzle?
Nothing. Just chilling like a villain over here in the DR, as you would say.
Down in the DR. Let's start there because only on the Extra Point After Dark will you get a political correspondent that is outside of the walls of the United States of America. And basically, Tasha, I'm going to blame you. Ever since you stamped that passport and got up out of Dodge, the country's gone to hell in a handbasket. Explain yourself. Did you
Well,
leave with the nuclear codes? What happened?
I wish I did because that nut job that's still in there does not need them. It was the thing is, it's sad because you kind of knew this was coming, or you knew that something like this could happen, not to this magnitude, but you knew something like this could happen with someone like him in office, and that's the truth. They always say, oh, he's the president, you have to respect the office of the president. Well, the president didn't even respect his own office. So how do you expect people who he's against, basically like Jamel Hill said, he's a white supremacist. He's been hiding under the cloak of being cool with black people. He was mentioned in a lot of rap songs, and everybody was like, yeah, rich is Trump, and I got to do this as Trump, because we thought Trump was down, but all this time he had been hiding. And his true colors came out when he started all that birther stuff about, Barack Obama. That's when you really knew, wait a minute, something's going on here. And I had a friend who sent me a text message and told me that, well, your good girlfriends voted for Trump. And at first it kind of made me feel a type of way. And she was like, well, we were kind of offended by some of the things that you were posting. I was putting them on my Instagram stories. I was pretty much like, fuck Trump. And fuck Trump supporters. That's pretty much what I was saying. And my thing was, you guys are upset. I understand that because, well, let me put it this way. You all are Republican. You vote for your party. And that's what I told her. I said, but I hope that you all would not share any of his bigotry, his divisiveness, or anything like that. Now, if those things that I put on my Instagram stories, if that upset you, then maybe you think like him because you're actually supporting him and not your Republican Party, because he's no Republican. And
Hey,
that,
look, before we go any further, I have to apologize to our corporate sponsor. Can you please, Ms. Tasha, tell you who the Extra Point After Dark is sponsored by, a person very near and dear to our hearts?
is May Janes Coffee. That's MAEJANES coffee.com. Go on there, get your Colombian brew, get your Brazil brew, get your Honduras brew, all coffee that you can order online, and it will be delivered to you. Again, that's May Janes Coffee, MAEJANES coffee.com.
Hey, I tell you, the best part of waking up is the Mary Jane in my cup. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Miss Sasha Denise, a black woman who's running her own business. We have got to do that. We're going to post that right now. We're going to leave that up for a few minutes to let everybody get that jotted down. We'll put that in the comment section after the show. Now, before we get into the sports, since this is after dark, you get to kind of look behind the veil of some of what we think about things outside of the realm of sports. And here on the Extra Point After Dark, we have the benefit of having a person on the outside looking in. Tasha is not an American citizen. Well, she is, but she does not live in the United States. So I wanted to bring her on and get her opinion, unsolicited, by the way. I wanted to get her opinion of what do people outside of the country think about the news that's going on within the United States. For centuries, as long as we've grown up, We've been looked at as at the forefront of freedom, technology, wealth, prosperity, the American dream, all that good stuff. The land of opportunity. Has that perception changed? Do you get that sense from the citizens of the Dominican Republic?
They have been talking so wet. And if you don't know what that means, they've been talking shit, been talking funky. They have basically been laughing.
Wow.
And a lot of them, even before the riot, let's call it what it was a riot at the Capitol building. When I first got down here, they were questioning me about Donald Trump. I remember we went to Belize one year and the people did not even know, this was 2015, 16. They didn't even know Hillary Clinton was a woman. They said,
Wow.
"Who's the other guy that's running against this Donald Trump? And why? How did you guys let Donald Trump do? You know, hey, I didn't vote for him. I did not support him or anything. Here you can watch different variations of the news. We watch the BBC, all on the BBC. They're talking about what an embarrassment it is now because a lot of countries looked up to the United States. This was the
Right.
mold that they used to say, okay, this is what democracy is supposed to look like. And don't get me
Right.
wrong, those people had every right to go to that capital and try to defend what they thought was wrong because they was like
Right.
steal the vote or whatever, take back whatever the slogan, the hashtag was. They had every
Stop
right
the
to
steal, I
do that.
believe it was.
Stop the steal. They had every right to do that. As American citizens, you do have a right to go and voice your opinion. But the way they did it, the fuckery that occurred, 5 people lost their lives, 2 people being Capitol Police officers, one who was bludgeoned to death. I don't know how the other one died later. They don't know. They're not saying what the cause of death was for him. That's embarrassing. And you're here in a foreign country, and people ask you, "Well, what happened? What happened? We heard something happened in the United States. What happened?" And the ones who do know,
Right.
so they said, "You know what happened if we tried to do that here?" Yeah, because like me, you're brown or you're black, you're probably gonna get shot. It is it was just embarrassing to sit here and watch it unfold on the news
Right.
because I said I cannot believe what I'm actually watching. These people
Right.
are going in here basically trying to, I mean, we were already a laughing stock when Trump got into office. Let's just put it out there. We were a laughing stock. Then you have stuff like this to happen and the outside world, me, like I said, me being here, I look at it a different way now. And it made me feel bad. I was actually embarrassed, and I've never been embarrassed. This was more embarrassing than when he got elected. And I think I put that on my Instagram stories as well. This is more embarrassing than when he actually got elected. Because they were basically there acting, rubbing feces and shit all on the wall, allegedly on the feces all on the walls, and like, so you actually took your hand, you shat it in your hand, and took it like this here and said,
But why'd you do it like you about to grease somebody's scalp? Why the three hair grease in the scalp fingers? Why,
I mean,
why you got
I mean, come on, let's be real. They wanted to say, oh, everything we did, black and brown people, but I can't remember what the meme said. They were like, we were fighting for our lives and you all were fighting for some votes or something. We're not the same. I can't exactly remember what it was, but it's not the same. And they want to say, oh, it was embarrassing everything that happened this summer. Why is it embarrassing to fight for your life? Why is it embarrassing to protest because you are being mistreated and have been mistreated as long as I can remember? I mean, long as I've known, and when they brought us over here,
so
we have been mistreated. So why is it wrong for us to stand up for what we feel is right? Now, I said they had every right to do it too, but when we do it, we were thugs. We were arrest them, throw them in jail. Anybody doing this, and that's what Donald Trump said. He gets 10 years. But these yahoos go out here. Then somebody else said Kaepernick was kneeling, silent protest. You all want to talk about, oh, it's disrespectful to the flag, but you guys took down the stars and stripes, put a Trump flag up, and somebody put the stars and bars up. So help me to understand what the difference is, or why is it so wrong if a guy kneels silently and then you guys can do this to the flag, and then you want to yell "Blue Lives Matter," but you're out here killing police officers. You're basically storming the Bastille like they did in France, and you're disrespecting the blue who y'all claim to support so much. But y'all was basically out there yelling "Fuck 12."
Yes. And I think that's why it's important that we get a chance to do these after dark segments as much as possible, because there is a lot that goes on in and outside the world of sports that we do have opinions on, that we are passionate about, that you won't hear on the Extra Point on Friday mornings, because I want to keep that strictly sports. But I thought it was important to have somebody at ground zero on the outside who lived in America, who is no longer living in this country, that's living in another country, that's having to answer questions to their neighbors now about the actions going on back home in the States. So I thought it was important for you to get a firsthand account of, and I think it's very, very alarming that the word that she used was embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
You would rather your mother or your father or your spouse be mad at you than embarrassed or disappointed. Like,
Yes.
embarrassed? that's
It's
tough now.
it it is. It's embarrassing because they kind of laugh, but they want to understand why it's happening. But when they
Right.
first approach me, they're like, "Man, United States, Estados Unidos,"
What you
and
say
it's
about some
like,
Negroes?
and
What
I
you
say,
say?
"Hey," but I did most of the questions.
What you say? We don't have a translator on deck. What was that?
What you said about my mama?
You know my mama probably watching.
But they like, even like I said before,
Don't do
hey,
it.
AP.
Don't do
But
it.
even like I
Don't
said
do it.
before this happened, it became embarrassing for me. I can't even get my point across. It became embarrassing when I went to Canada. I had on an anti-Trump shirt, and of course, in the airport, somebody whispered and tried to pop some shit. They didn't say it to my face, but once I got to Canada, even going through customs, the guy looked at my passport, nice shirt. Walking down the street to our hotel, people's like, love the shirt, nice shirt, love the shirt, because it has been embarrassing. And I put another meme up. It says, when you see somebody with American flag, nine times out of 10, you think they racist as fuck. And you do. Like, you see Old Glory now, and it's like, oh, they racist. Like, that's the way I feel. They redneck. They got,
Right. And
but
that wasn't the way we felt growing up, because we
right,
both went to school where we did the Pledge of Allegiance and we stood there with pride, and we root for the Americans in the Olympics, and we took pride in them standing on that,
right.
that gold podium with the
And
medal,
we
and
went
the Star
and
Spangled
we
Banner
went to
playing in the background.
look, and we went to Old Navy and got the 4th of July t-shirts that had the flag on them.
No, we went to Hills on Charlotte. I don't know where I don't know about where y'all went. But to put a nice bow on this, one of our alums, Mr. Langston Moore, Pearl Cone affiliate, said, "I literally did not want to work anymore that day. Understand that I was ashamed as an American," echoing your sentiments. He says, "More importantly, I saw them want to destroy a system that they built because it didn't work in their favor." Can
There
the
you go,
church,
Langston.
Langston just put a nice little bow on that and put it under the tree. Can the church say amen? Now,
Amen.
speaking of embarrassed, you see what I'm rocking today, y'all. You see what I'm rocking today. This has been a tough day for me. But before we get into what went wrong in Cashville, what went wrong in Philly? The breaking news today, T. So I'm going to get your first thoughts on this. They fired the coach. What's going on with Doug Peterson?
What went wrong was when they got rid of not Wentz, Foles, to me.
Nick Foles.
Because
Okay.
yes, because Foles was the Super Bowl winning quarterback, correct?
Correct.
But they just had to get Carson Wentz in the game. And I think that's where a lot of these organizations, these coaches, everybody goes wrong because they hone in on one particular person. When you see that person is not
Marcus Mariota.
effective, when you see that person
I said Marcus
is
Mariota.
not,
I'm sorry. Keep going.
right, when you see that person is not effective, it's time to reevaluate. They kept sticking Wentz out there. He was injured. Then he comes back. He's not playing worth a damn. To me, Wentz was their downfall. I mean, they had a lot of other pieces, things go. But to me, Wentz was the core of that. They didn't want to get rid of Carson Wentz. Now you go out here and you draft Jalen Hurts, and then you put Wentz on the bench. And now I don't like the coach, man. Peace, not getting along. Trade me. First of all, dude, you don't have that much trade value because your record and the way you play, it's not all of that. So you really don't need to be out here trying to demand to be won
this
with.
year. Right. 3-8 as a starter, that's not gonna cut it.
And then when Peterson pulled that, I don't know if somebody told him to tank or somebody. That was probably the worst coaching, blatant coaching. It was beyond me. I was just dumbfounded. You put into because I just want to see what he looked like. First of all, you knew you weren't gonna have no job next year. So why are you trying to look at a court? You just want to give him some touches. Give him some touches for what? It was the last game of the season. Why?
And he had been there for 4 years. He'd been there for 4 years. You hadn't seen if he hadn't showed you enough in 4 years on the scout team. You think that 1-2 drives in the fourth quarter of a game where other teams' playoff hopes hung in the balance? Yeah. This is what I think.
Go ahead.
I think that this was self-sabotage. If I can get y'all to fire me, y'all still give me my money.
Right.
It's like the unemployment game we play in the States. Did you get fired? Did you quit? What happened?
Right.
So I think he wanted out of Dodge before all of these other jobs were taken because there's 6 or 7 jobs available right now.
Really?
Oh, that was Jeffrey Leary, right? That was the Eagles owner knocking on your door.
He was like, at the door.
All right, now T Sizzle. Wild Card Weekend has come and gone. It was a rousing success for 6 NFL cities. Mine wasn't one of them. One of them. But what we're gonna do right now, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat for 2021. The first game of hang in there or have a seat is UT Sizzle on the hot seat. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna list off the losing playoff teams, the one and done teams. You tell me if they should hang in there, they're building towards another playoff run next year, or hey, you blew it. This was your one chance to do something. Have a seat. We'll see you again in 10 years because that was a fluke. Let's start with Indianapolis. Hang in there or have a seat, Tasha.
I'm going to say hang in there because they should have let Hail Mary Jacoby Brissett get in. I think they should have got him in there and let him throw that Hail Mary. Because, I mean, again, that's another. They're giving a chance to a quarterback just, off of his name. Yeah, and he deserves a little respect. But they took that job from Jacoby Brissett when I thought he was pretty much being effective. I thought the Colts looked pretty decent when he was in at quarterback. They just didn't really want to give him a chance because they had the shot at getting a future Hall of Fame quarterback in not Drew Brees,
Phillip Rivers.
His name? Phillip Rivers. And I understand
busted wide open Rivers.
I'm gonna keep my comment to myself.
No, this is after dark. It's time to shoot from the hip. Now I said Friday on the Friday show that you can count on 2 things from Phillip Rivers.
He busting all right. What 8 kids? Yeah, he busting. But anyway. I think the Colts should hang in there because they have a pretty decent foundation. They got a pretty decent team around them. So I think they should hang in there. They should hang in there.
I agree they should hang in there. Rivers, really, I put this loss on Frank Reich, their head coach. if you quit being greedy and you take that field goal at the end of the first half, you're tied going down on that final drive.
Right.
And that's a whole different set of circumstances how you play those last 5 or 6 minutes on both sides of the ball. Okay,
And
Andy
people don't
Hagan. Okay,
understand that makes a difference when they say you leave points out there. That
right.
I mean, I don't know if I'm a big fan of momentum necessarily, but when you leave those points out there, that can kind of do something to you. It's like when you going down, man, we could have been tied as opposed to being down, or we get the ball in the second half, we would have had the chance to take the lead and maybe keep it. That's my mindset, when it comes to things like that.
Right, I totally agree. Let's go across the country to Seattle. Seattle Seahawks. Disappointing, embarrassing home loss. Hang in there or have a seat. Do they still got another run left in them?
I'm going to say hang in there simply because Megatron 2.0, DK Metcalf, and Russell Wilson, the fighting, what you call them, the fighting Sierras. Russell
The fighting
Wilson
Sierras
is still a good quarterback. He's still a decent quarterback. You got some, you got young talent. You got some good defensive pieces in there. I think they
I
need
love
to hang
Jamal
in
Adams.
Yes.
Okay, I agree. As long as you got a franchise quarterback, then and like you said, DK Metcalf is only going to keep getting better. Jamal Adams is there for the long haul. Build around those pieces. You'll be right back in the playoffs next year.
I mean, that makes you
Next
wonder
up,
how did the Jets even? Never mind. We ain't gonna even talk about the Jets. Let's go.
we'll squeeze them in another episode. How about the Washington football team? Hang in there or have a seat.
Implode to They need to have a seat, several seats. And I hate to say this because he's a fuck eye. The only good thing about that team is Chase Young.
Ooh, he's a bad boy.
That's a
He had a
bad
rookie
man.
season that reminded me of Jabbar Curse.
That boy is
That's a bad boy.
bona fide beast.
He has a Hall of Fame trajectory if Washington can just remain competitive enough for him to make playoff appearances at least every other year.
That's it. They're not competitive. They got into the playoffs simply because they had the weakest division probably ever in the NFL history going into the playoffs. No, they weren't even 500. What was their record? They weren't even 500.
Yeah, they was. But Washington was 7-9 in the playoffs.
See, but how do you expect a team to have any confidence about themselves? I mean, you got Riverboat Ron out there calling the play. He's recovered. Cancer survivor. He rung the bell and everything. But it's just something is going on with Washington that it's just been wrong. I mean,
you know what it is.
What?
You know what it is. It's the stench of that old name. Until you do right by me. Until you do right.
I mean, they really have just not been a decent team.
This is why I think that they're in trouble. This will be the one year of any year that they needed to finish 3-13 and be in the lottery for one of those quarterbacks. Making
Because
the playoffs and getting bounced.
You try now Alex Smith, whose leg, ankle, feet, toes is hanging on by some silly putty. And,
I thought you was about to say twerk your body across the floor.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Body across the floor. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Work it. No, okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, they missed out on the quarterback. Alex Smith, like he was holding together by silly putty. Now Langston says it was only 1 year. I think if they get a solid QB, they will be fine. The defense is young, but showed heart. That defense is raw. They did what San Francisco did a la the Jim Harbaugh era when you load up on quality defensive linemen several years in a row, got a whole bunch of first rounders on that front line. Before you know it, nobody can run on you and nobody can pass on you.
Exactly.
So,
but if you don't get the
offense, you need to have a seat, Washington.
Yeah, they need to have a sense. If you don't get the offense going, what's the use of having that good defense if you can't put any points on the board?
A team that may be in a similar situation, Chicago, hang in there, have a seat.
As long as they gonna keep Mitchell Trubisky on that roster, they need to have a seat.
I agree. We can just keep moving with that because there's nothing else to add. I agree. You got to get a better quarterback in there. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Woo! That was rough to watch.
You know that's my AFC team. I was so disappointed in Big Ben's performance. But remember, I told you earlier in the season, if that offense does not play well, they're not going to do anything.
You wasn't sold on them at 11-1 though. I mean 11-0.
No, I wasn't, because the offense, it was holding them back, but the defense, and I mean, what was it, 28? Oh my God! Cleveland was out there looking like superstars. I mean, you can't take anything away from Cleveland. Cleveland has had a decent season this year, but I'm kind of disappointed in it. Big Ben gave a statement like, if they're going to keep Big Ben, I'm going to say have a seat. And I love Big Ben. I'm going to say have a seat. But if they get they got to get some new pieces, a fresh arm in there. Because,
T Sizzle,
if Big Ben is there, have a seat. That's all I got to say.
It's got to be one or the other, though, because Big Ben counts $41 million against the cap next year.
Mm-hmm.
When the cap is going down next year, it's not going up. So how do you re-sign a Juju? How do you, bring in some cornerbacks? How do you bolster the offensive line to help that run game if you're paying your quarterback $41 million? Big Ben? Now, we ain't talking about Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Big Ben.
Run game the run game, and those receivers have been suspect the entire season. And you say, okay, well, yeah, Big Ben is showing, little spurts of, excitement. But at the end of the day, Big Ben was not effective.
But hey, at least they got 1 million views on TikTok.
Hop in the car, can't crack like that. Crack like that.
Nobody can dab on them like old Juju while you're sitting at home.
Whatever.
But next year. So you're saying if they bring back everybody as is, should they hang in there and have a seat? Because Cleveland look like they're here to stay. Baltimore is here to stay. When Joe Burrow comes back, Cincinnati's going to be better, and they beat Pittsburgh this year without him.
Pump your brakes. I'm not going to say Cleveland is here to stay. Pump your brakes.
You don't.
No. Now, I will say, you know how we feel about old Lamar. He may play against your Titans and against my Steelers, but old Lamar, that's day one.
We're going to get into Lamar here in just a second, because last but not least, Tennessee Titans, hang in there and have a seat. There's your chance. Here's your chance, Tasha. You're on the top rope doing the Macho Man point. You can drop the elbow right now if you want.
I'm not going to necessarily drop the elbow. I'm going to say hang in there simply because of King Henry. And I'm not a Titans fan. I just don't like some of the things that they do. But, we're going to save that segment for later. But as long as you have somebody like Derrick Henry, I think you can still hang in there. But him being a running back, and we all know the lifespan of a running back.
You just answered Langston's question, because we just had a question from the Facebook Live that says, how long will Henry last? Right where you were going with that.
Yeah, you can't. He's a horse, but you cannot run that man like you did. You cannot continue to do that.
378 attempts this year. That's like 2 seasons for your standard running back committee type approach. That's 2 seasons of carries in 1 season. I'm worried about them overall. What happened? What went wrong in that playoff game against Baltimore? What happened?
Again, I couldn't really watch it because of the suspect ass Wi-Fi. We haven't moved to the house; it's still in the rental. I think what went wrong was Lamar. That's all you can. That boy is special. That boy is special.
And you don't mean as in dead. You mean as in one of a kind.
Yes.
Because your sarcasm, we gotta check you.
he's one of those people. You remember how, like, it back in the day with the Falcons, how you knew the Falcons really wasn't shit, but as long as Michael Vick was back there, you knew something was gonna happen.
Right.
And Lamar Jackson is Michael Vick down 2.0. You know, like I
Right.
said, Lamar Jackson had all the cheat codes from that first game at Louisville. When I will never forget that game in the Georgia Dome. I was like, okay, who is this kid?
Right.
Where he come from?
Right.
He's always had it, and I think
Right.
he is a bona fide star. He's going to be a problem, and as long
He
as
is.
as long as Baltimore can just keep a decent team
Mm-hmm.
with him there, he's going to make that team go further. But again, it's like with Derrick Henry, how much is he going to keep running though?
But he's shown arm talent. He had several
Yeah,
big plays that he made downfield with his arm. You just give him a burner like a Hollywood Hollywood Brown,
boy, I
and,
tell you,
and and he'll be fine. Now, I will say this: being the staunch, diehard, sometimes obnoxious Titans fan that I can be, and I know I can be obnoxious. Um, if I had to make a deal with the football devil to say you're going to lose in the first round, Paul, but you get to pick which player you lose to, it would be Lamar. It
yeah.
would be Lamar,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't like the narrative that the problem that he was having in the playoffs was above the neck, if you know what I'm saying.
Right, and because that's what they always pin on us is he doesn't have the football mind. What was the guy? Uh, what's his name? That used to be with the Colts. That was saying, Lamar. He didn't think Lamar was a quarterback, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. The old GM.
Yeah, I can't even think of his name right now, but that's that's a tag that we always get, is that above the neck we're not there. But he made through his career, his short career, he's made some pretty good decisions.
Yes, and you don't win MVP by not being able to be an all around quarterback. Yes, he was the first quarterback to run for 1,000 yards in consecutive years, but he's more than that. This guy can beat
Hmm.
you with his arm. There were several key third down plays where he had to get that ball out on a rope, and he did. And I had to just when he made the last third down conversion to where we had no more timeouts to stop the clock. There was a part of me that tipped my hat because he did it. He did it. And I was like, so raise up. Bill Polian, thank you, Langston. Pearl
Yeah,
Cone in the
Bill
house.
Polian. Thanks,
Bill
Langston. Thank you.
Polian. We can always count on
Talk
Pearl Cone to
dog
come
about
through.
that boy. Bill Polian was
Talk
just, make him a
bad.
wide receiver, make him
A
he's
wide
not a
receiver.
quarterback.
A wide receiver. Now we
Yeah,
know the
yeah.
goalpost is going to change. They're going to move the goalpost on him, and now it's going to be can he win the Super Bowl? And so we get that, we understand that, and he's got tough sledding to go through Buffalo and then possibly through Kansas City. But the fact that they can't use this going into next season, I'm okay with that. If we had to be the sacrificial lambs, then it was just the bad luck of the draw. There was a lot of 11-5 teams this year, and we just happened to catch the one who had the best, most dynamic athletic player on the planet. So
They gonna do like when Tiger Woods kept winning and they started tiger proofing the courses. That's what they gonna start doing with Lamar. That's the next step. They're gonna start Lamar proofing the NFL.
and the
Because
thing is, and it wasn't. Go ahead.
if he ever gets to the point where he wins a Super Bowl,
He's the
I
only hope.
guarantee you they gonna change the NFL rules if that man ever wins a Super Bowl. They're gonna do
Right,
something
right. Like when
to make
Kareem
it
was playing up
unfair
the
for
league
him.
in college, they stopped the dunking.
Stop the dunk. You couldn't dunk. It was illegal to do a slam dunk.
Because Kareem was like, "What? Hold my beer, goo goo." So yeah, I am
Well, he was
disappointed. I'm
Lou
sad.
Alcindor then.
Right, all right, you're right. It was Luau then. Um, I was extremely disappointed. I was sad, of course. It's the finality of a and one game and you're out format that really stings. It's not like we could have came back and played the best out of seven, because I do think that would have went 7 games in the NBA format. Both teams were equally matched, but Lamar caught fire and had the better game. I got to tip my cap to Baltimore. They move on,
And
we
what I
don't.
say about that too, teams like I think when the team does so well sometimes, when it comes time for the playoffs, they seem to not be as you understand what I'm saying? Like the Titans were steamrolling. They were just, rolling just like with Pittsburgh. They were rolling over people. And then when it came
Right.
time to show, they couldn't perform.
And
And
they
and
both got
I'm gonna
tight. They both got tight.
right.
Both of their coaches made questionable punting decisions late in the game when they
Mm-hmm.
had short conversions on fourth down, trying to play it
Mm-hmm.
safe, and then the other team took the ball, marched it right back down, and scored, being aggressive. So, you know, um, them backsides get tight in those pressure
Right.
situations,
They get
and
that
we could
lemon
have picked up
booty.
a cherry by the stem.
Right. They get that lemon booty real quick.
That's what happened there. Now, um, let's get to real quick this weekend's matchups coming up. We got. What are your quick thoughts on Brady versus Breeze Part 3 this year?
And I
Does Brady
really
get
and
swept three
truly
times?
I I hate Tom Brady with a passion. And after what Drew Brees said, this I really ain't. As in Steph say, "Fuck you." We ain't forgot what you said. Shout out to Steph
Quite
Curry.
literally is what
Steph,
you said.
Steph Strong. Come on, put
Right
your
there.
muscle
Let me
up.
get this in the camera. Throw the muscle up. Steph
Yeah,
strong.
get your flex up. Uh,
Flex on him. We with you,
I
Steph.
hate I hate Tom Brady so much, and I would never. I I'm going for the Saints. That's just it.
Damn.
I'm rooting
Even
for the
even
Saints.
with what Drew Brees said, you still going for the. You hate Tom Brady that much.
Hmm.
Now I saw a tweet that I found hilarious early today. They said um that Tom Brady and Drew Brees is gonna meet this weekend on the History Channel. Y'all old asses on TV. Y'all gonna be on Get TV where they play the Jeffersons and Alice and all them old school shows.
Bye, because you said Alice. No, no, sir. No,
No, they
sir.
just played it the other day. That shouts out to Get TV. What about the Rams who upset Seattle? Do you think they have a snowball's chance in hell? And snowball being literally because they're going to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
Well, of course, you can't count Ron out of any contest. So no, the Rams do not have a chance.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to stew on that one. These are about your picks today. So I have to think about that one. But I think Green Bay is my Super Bowl favorite. Actually, I think they're better
Hmm.
than Kansas City. What about Baltimore and Buffalo? Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen. Ooh, that's gonna be a barn burner.
The thing is, I just when I think of the Buffalo Bills, I just think of those missed Super Bowl opportunities. I just don't think Buffalo is going anywhere. And I'm I mean at this point I'm rooting for the Ravens because of old Lamara. That I just am. That's going to
Right.
be a very, very, very good game.
I am looking forward to that. I can't wait for that matchup. And finally, we have KC versus Cleveland. Does Cleveland keep the dog pound rolling? She started laughing. You sniggling? You giggling?
Man, Kansas City. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah. It was a fun ride. Now it would have been much better to see them against Pittsburgh. We were robbed of that because they want to snap the ball over the head like it's high school AAA championship game and all that kind of stuff. Right, Thurman Thomas couldn't find his helmet. Buffalo. Then this guy right here sat on the sidelines and watched a fluke special teams play that's never been done again. Run up the sideline with 16 seconds. They just snake bit. Forget about it, Buffalo. Um, so you got New Orleans, you got Kansas City, you've got Baltimore, and you're going Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers
Yep,
of
those are
Green
my
Bay.
picks.
Yeah, okay, the Packers of Green
The,
Bay.
it's
Now,
kicking off long ball through an 8 chip.
the
Wait a
sun.
minute, stop. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I gotta digress a minute. I watched Coming to America the other day. Do you realize how racist Coming to America is?
Yes, yes,
Colter, Colter. Like, come
right.
on.
He said, especially how y'all bounce that ball off your head. Hey,
Come on,
if you're on Facebook Live watching right now, drop your favorite Coming to America line. And we'll throw it up. But if you want to talk about pound for pound, let's see, pound for pound, which one had the better lines? Coming to America or Life?
Oh, man.
My daddy watch. My daddy got me this watch.
Don't even say whoop you fix you go whoop. I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Daddy watch.
I gotta go with Coming to America. Even though you gonna eat your cornbread, and I know a bitch named Della that hit harder than you, and
which
one of y'all motherfuckers.
She said donations.
Oh, I thought this was trash.
She goes with Life. It's a toss up, but Life had so many. He said, "Yes, I want to know. I got to know." He rolled.
How about I turn y'all into nigga pies? What you say about 35 miles down the road?
How much it costs to turn these white pies into nigga pies? How you do the money? It's a nigga pies. How about I turn y'all into?
They can tell by the way I work. I ain't from around here. Cock-a-doodle-doo, right. Motherfucker.
Right, like some of the eyes to pappy.
Which one of y'all motherfuckers killed Santa Claus? It wasn't the Santa Claus. He was just ringing the bell and wearing the suit.
He was like, none of y'all motherfuckers can read.
Your hands is soft and supple like a leg.
Oh, so. Oh boy, I needed that laugh today after yesterday. Now, we are rapidly closing in on the final game of the college football season, the title game between the Ohio State Suckeyes and the Alabama Crimson Tide. T Sizzle, you got the floor. Who are you picking and why?
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Simply because I don't care who the fuck eyes are playing. I would never root for them. Ever.
You remember that episode of the Jeffersons when that racist man down at the cleaners had passed out and George went and gave him CPR, and when he woke up, the cops told him, he said, "You should have let me die. You should have let me die." That's me. Don't resuscitate me, Nick.
Right.
All you black guys out there, don't let me die. And let me go on to them pearly blue gates in the sky. Don't resuscitate me. You should have let me die. I'll never pick Ohio. Never.
I will never. And then remember I tweeted you earlier about how they were trying to say the COVID broke out because I thought they were just trying to get Justin Fields healthy. You remember I told you that, and then they said Saban's daughter said it, and she retracted her statement. Like, no, don't pull back because it was the truth.
The only thing that was broken was his ribs. Man out there working with three-piece tender.
Them baby backs was dry rubbed, honey. They were dry rubbed.
And the thing is, Ohio State is so shaky. They wouldn't even give him a diagnosis during that game. They was like, "Oh, you all right?"
Because they didn't want to reveal. They didn't want to reveal the weakness, but we already know he out there working with some dry rub ribs.
And you already know Nick Saban and them boys are gonna tap. They're gonna tap them ribs tonight. We'll see.
They out there doing that Birdman rub, the Birdman hand rub. They putting on them bibs we get when we go to that crab restaurant down there.
No, because I'm still mad at you saying that I had on a bib and wasn't eating the right stuff. I did have a chicken sandwich like this.
A spicy chicken sandwich. You didn't need a bib. They didn't require a bib.
No, but it was spicy. So if I started crying, I had a little something to bow. You know, bow, that out right there in them tear ducts. You know.
Okay.
Hey, Lexus says he got ribs like Mary's barbecue though. When's the last time somebody's been to Mary's? Because when I was growing up, they used to have them puppies lined up behind the shop, behind the. Now I know North Nashville.
First of all, you're not gonna talk about Mary because her and Mr. Stanley Seals were members of my church. So you're not gonna talk about Mary's like that. You're not
So
gonna do
let's
that.
do what. Hey, this is after dog DAHK. So you saying right here in front of the world that they were not cooking dog meat on the weekends?
I said they was not cooking Scooby and Scrappy and Bella and Big Boy. That's what I said.
Okay, all right, because we will see them lined up, straddled out behind the building. We didn't know.
I was
Maybe
just
they
trying
was
to
all
get
just
some.
taking a nap.
They was just trying to get some scrapings.
Maybe they was all just taking a nap. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for y'all to go and watch this national championship game. I'm about to get me a glass of vino like LeBron and sit back and watch the fireworks. T Sizzle, um, thank you for the first show of 2021. Here's to many, many more. Remember our predictions. We hope this age. Look, I better get this up on YouTube now before the game is over, just in
Right.
case the Suckeyes win. Shouts out to Sasha Denise. Make sure that you hit up Mary Jane's Coffee. We will put the link in the comment section. And until then, we'll see you Friday on the Extra Point. If we don't see you before on After Dark. Hey, Paige, what's going on?
Hey, Paige.